Another cost behavior classification is fixed costs. Now, fixed costs have two main characteristics. The first one being that the total cost, again, total is very important here, total cost remains constant no matter what the level of activity is. It doesn't matter how much the level of activity or how many you sell or how many you produce, the total cost never goes up. The other side to this is that the cost per unit, on a per unit basis, varies inversely with the level of changes in activity. So the more units you produce, the more units you sell, the lower per unit value or per unit cost becomes. So if we're looking at this from an example of a wedding, let's say you're looking at a wedding venue. Your wedding venue may cost $1,200 for the venue. Now that doesn't change if you have one person coming to your wedding or 100 people coming to your wedding. You're still going to have to pay $1,200. That is an example of a fixed cost. Now I can break that down per person and make the cost per unit go down as more people come, but it doesn't change the fact that I'm going to have to pay $1,200. Now if we're looking at this from a graph, it looks like this. It's a straight line straight across the graph. It doesn't matter what the quantity is, it'll always be that amount. Now we can break fixed costs into two classifications. We can call them one, committed fixed costs. And these represent investments with multi-year planning horizons that cannot be easily adjusted in the short term. These are fixed costs that I don't have a whole lot of control over. So for example, this would be like a mortgage for a family. I don't have a lot of control over that. I can't change it unless I do something drastic. And then the drastic is going to have an impact that's going to potentially impact the future. On the other side of that, we have what's called discretionary. Discretionary usually arises from annual decisions by management and can be easily reduced in the short term. These are things that I can and do have control over to some capacity. So again, this would be like my, it would be like a gas, if I have a fixed gas amount for the year. I can change that if I need to. If I have a gas budget for a salesperson, I can change that if I need to. It's not going to have that much of an effect. So that's what fixed costs are.